Welcome to Vegas Hockey Hub here in the sports entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele. We are here on PRConnectionRadio.com, the voice of new media. And, the Vegas Golden Knights are doing very well. Star-studded roster, talent after talent after talent. Vegas Golden Knights, they really don't have to worry at this point about struggling on the bottom six. They have one of the best bottom six in all of hockey. They do not have to struggle about having a top six that's a little bit on the weak side. No, when it's fully healthy, top six is one of the elite top six that you have in hockey today. Defensively, depth is actually one of their least concerns. So many defensemen on this roster. And you have a Calder Trophy favorite in Logan Thompson in net. You have a dependable and reliable goalie in net as your backup in Dean Hill. So there really isn't many holes that need to be filled on the Vegas Golden Knights. But you got your host, Ian Raquel. What about a certain player who's not on the starting lineup anymore? How about a player who last year had some promise going into Vegas? How about a player who unfortunately, it's not his fault, but unfortunately, body and and what's going on with him has not been able to translate to the NHL. This episode's gonna be talking about what has happened to Nolan Patrick. What has happened to Nolan Patrick ever since he joined the NHL? Because look, he had a star-studded junior career. He was excellent playing WHL, and I'll show you the stats in just a moment. But what has happened to Nolan since joining the NHL? Because it's a really interesting case. This guy wasn't a second overall for no. Wasn't like they randomly took the award Nolan Patrick second overall. He was in there for a reason. So, in this episode of Vegas Hockey Hub, we will be discussing what has happened to Nolan Patrick and discuss his future with Vegas Golden. Now, the one part about Nolan Patrick that a lot of people haven't really talked about is how stellar he was in the WHL. How Nolan was a great player when he was 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. Nolan Patrick was a future asset in the NHL someday. And really just to back that up, all you have to do is look at those statistics right there on the screen. Nolan Patrick, he only played a few games in his first year in juniors. But then from that point, he essentially took off and became a star-studded, a that you had to watch out for in junior hockey. That 2014-2015 season was a to what was going to happen the following year. Having 38 goals and 71 as a 16-year-old was quite impressive. But that 15-16 year is what got him on everybody's radar in the NHL. That 15-16 year, just look at those stats right there. 54 goals, 132 in that entire game. Not only was he given the WHL's Rookie of the Year, but he also managed at that same time in the WHL. He got them as a captain to the Memorial, which for anybody who doesn't know, the Memorial Cup is the most prestigious cup you can get in junior hockey up in Canada. There's people in the OHL, WHL, and KMJHL. That's their. So he got the brand new games in 2016 to the Memorial. And that photo right there, that is holding the trophy for the WHL being the team in Western hockey. He was also given the WHL MVP in that 2016 season. He also was the first 17-year-old to score over 100 points since 1977. Think about how long ago that is. That almost 40 years from the last time somebody at 17 years old scored 100 points with a week. There's also the same Nolan Patrick that played with a hernia, not only through the Western Hockey Finals, but he also played through it in the Memorial Cup when they were there in 2016. So Nolan Patrick had a phenomenal and an incredible 15, 2016, 2017 at 18 years old. Those stats show that he took a step. Well, not exactly. 20 goals, 46 points in only 33 games. He only played 33 games because he had a upper body injury early in the year. In October of 2016, he was sidelined with upper body injury. He also had been announced that he was not medically cleared to be on Team Canada's World Junior Championship. That's why he did not participate in or be on the roster for Team Canada's 2017 World Juniors. So he missed the regular season. He missed all the playoff games for the Brandon that year because of that upper body injury. This is unfortunately a regret you're going to notice with Nolan, even though that he had a insane amount of talent. And just watching his junior film, you could see his talent in display. He missed 12 games in the WHL injury. He missed a certain amount of time in 2016, 2017, the hernia injury, which was, again, sidelined because of what happened the year before. Now, Nolan Patrick missing that amount of time, that most of the time should have impacted where you were going to go in the NHL draft. However, Nolan Patrick is ranked number one North American skater by the NHL. There was even scouts who said that he had proven over the past 3 years that he is the real and will be an impact NHL player in the majors. So, in the 2017 NHL draft, he managed to be a good quality. He managed to be a player, which got selected second overall by the Philadelphia Flyers. He was taken in the same draft. The Vegas Golden Knights had a trio of first. Noah taken second overall. Yes, they're going to be Philadelphia Flyers fans. Of the three picks for All-Star, my All-Star, Star, and All-Star Elias. So you had three All-Stars taken right after Nolan. And even later in the draft, you had Nick Suzuki, who was taken 13th overall. You had Jake Ottinger taken at 26, who's become a solid goalie in the NHL. Robert Thomas taken at 20. Josh Norris taken at 19. There's been some good talent in this. So Nolan has to always be one notch, unfortunately, that most people associate him with. The fact that he drafted before future All Stars back to back. But how did he do in Philadelphia? How did he perform with Philadelphia Flyers? Well, that first season he was in the NHL, he played 73 of 82 games. He had 13 goals, 17 assists, 30 points, and He actually played in his first ever playoff for the Philadelphia Flyers that season. So that year was growing. He had his NHL debut, in the October of 2017. Now, the reason why he missed 9 games is because he took a Anaheim Ducks player, Chris Wagner, and missed 9 games because he had to recover from an injury. Now, Nolan Patrick being injured, like I said, is unfortunately going to be a theme here on this episode. But yes, he missed 9 games in year 1 of his professional hockey career due to injury. How about year 2? How did Nolan Patrick perform in year 2 with Philadelphia Flyers? Well, 13 goals, 18 assists, 31. And even though he was selected as the number one player by the NHL Network for that year, Nolan Patrick in 72 games that year. The reason why he played 72 games that year because of was once again he just could not be in the lineup every single. Now the 2019 NHL offseason is Nolan Patrick unfortunately goes from bad because the entire 2019 NHL season, Nolan Patrick was out because he was diagnosed with migraine disorder. So in 2019 NHL season, he began to feel headaches, his suffering during practice. Even though he was initially diagnosed with an upper body injury at the Flyers training camp, he went over to the University of Michigan, visited some neurologists, and he was diagnosed with said migraine disorder. Now, he clarified that the migraines were not related to hockey, and that it was a condition that was being witnessed in his family. So when I said earlier in the show that this isn't Nolan Patrick's fault that he has underperformed in the NHL, I was not kidding about that. Nolan Patrick having a condition that runs in his family and that affecting his hockey, that's something that he had nothing to do with. There's not anything he can do not over. There's not any programs, nothing like that. Unfortunately, with Nolan Patrick, is a situation where he's diagnosed with something and it's going to be a part of his career forever. Now, the rest of that 2019-2020 season, however, Nolan Patrick ended up not being on the roster for that 2020 COVID-19 bubble situation with the Flyers. So, the 2020 season, his final year with Philadelphia Flyers. Now he's getting the rookie salary of $874,000. He cleared all medical protocols. He's practicing with the team. He is a middle six forward for the Philadelphia Flyers. And great, he scores in his game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. It was his first NHL game in over 600 days. Now, this pandemic short season, he played 52 of 56 games. He only had 9 points, unfortunately, and put up minus 30 in terms of minus. Now, he did miss 2 games. And the reason why he missed those games was because he shot off the ear. And he worried that it would amplify his headache. That's why he missed those games. Now, with Noah Patrick, and we're getting towards the halfway through, he gets a new agent. He has a bunch of things going on. So, in the 2021 NHL offseason, Nolan Patrick was not once, but twice in the same day. Nolan Patrick was swapped with the Nashville Predators in exchange for Ryan Ellis. And then the Nashville Predators sent him to the Vegas Golden Knights to get Cody Glass. And then on not only that same offseason, he would sign a 2-year deal for $4 million with Vegas to be part of the team. Now, why would he play for the Vegas Golden Knights? What would make the Vegas Golden Knights take a chance on a second overall pick in Nolan Patrick? The reason why is back to his junior days playing for the Brandon Wheat Kings. The WHL Brandon Wheat Kings at the time was owned and head coached by Kelly McCrimmon, the current general manager of your Vegas Golden Knights. So because Kelly McCrimmon would know the talent, because Kelly McCrimmon would know firsthand knowledge about Nolan Patrick, that is why he became a Vegas Golden Knight. And, with Nolan Patrick in that situation, his first season with the Vegas Golden Knights, 2022, 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points in only 25 games. Now, why did he only play 25 games that year? Once again, unfortunately, he had not one, but two injuries affect him while in Vegas. The first one was he had an upper body injury that made him sit out for 14 games. And then later in the year, he took a shot from Nathan MacKinnon. And this shot from Nathan MacKinnon was a shot that was up high. It was a very high hit. And because of that high hit, he played a few games afterwards and then sat the rest of the 2022 season with the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, they classified it as an upper body injury. But some people have speculated, so is it possible that he is still suffering from concussion related symptoms? Is it possible that that hit to the head, that hit being up high, that it could have had something to do with the migraine disorder that he was diagnosed with in 2019? Now, the bad news about all of this is that Nolan Patrick will miss the entire 2022-2023 season due to said upper body injury. And there's even been rumors surfacing around that he will be considering retirement at the end of the season. And as somebody who's a fan of Nolan Patrick, somebody who wants to see him succeed, it is very unfortunate that if Nolan Patrick has to retire at only 24 years of age, that it will only say that injuries, injuries, injuries is why it happened. That injury riddled seasons is what affected Nolan Patrick. So, that's the show when it comes to Nolan Patrick, discussing what's been going on with Nolan Patrick. Now, we're going to talk about the Vegas Golden Knights for just a few minutes here on Vegas Hockey Hub. And, when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights, there's plenty to talk about. The Vegas Golden Knights, 11 games above 500, the best record in the Western Conference. There's a lot to discuss. There's a lot to go over. And the one part that really needs to be brought up is the injury factor that's been kicking in. The Vegas Golden Knights, they have been dealing with a lot of injuries over the last few weeks. You've had Jack Eichel, who has suffered a lower body injury. He has missed a few games. How about the fact that Shea Theodore now has an undisclosed injury? We don't know when he's going to return. How about Brett Howden, the guy in your bottom six, a lower body injury? He'll be out for day to day. And Alex Pietrangelo is out due to personal reasons. So the Vegas Golden Knights have two of their very important defensemen currently out. The Vegas Golden Knights, Mark Stone took a very bad hit, and it's questionable if he's going to be back. Jack Eichel suffered that lower body injury. He has been out for a few games. It really feels like the Vegas Golden Knights are unfortunately in the same situation that they were in a while ago, where injuries start piling up, and those injuries will affect the Vegas Golden Knights moving forward. And if this really starts becoming the case, who else are we going to expect to get injured? I mean, Chandler Stevenson has been a rock for the Vegas Golden Knights. Unfortunately, he has not scored many points in the last 11 games. How about the MSK line of Riley Smith, William Karlsson, Jonathan Marchessault? Because Riley Smith, William Karlsson, Jonathan Marchessault, they are a situation where they're all extremely talented. But are they going to be your first line if injuries keep on occurring? How about the Iron Man, Phil Kessel? Is the injury bug going to hit him? That'll be interesting to see. How about Paul Cotter, who's an exceptional talent? I mean, Paul Cotter is a guy that you could really look at and examine and say, is he going to be a top six forward? Not by demand, but be a top six forward because of next man up mentality. How about Nicholas Waugh, huh? The guy who missed a few games. 13 points. He's averaging half a point per game. How about Nicholas Waugh being the guy in Vegas and getting some top 6 minutes? Ian Kolesar and William Carrier with their big frame. William Carrier doing what he's been doing the last 5 years. Keaton Kolesar doing what he's been doing for the last 4 years. This has become a trend for the Vegas Golden Knights. It is the next man up mentality. Don't even get me started on the defense. Because of what's going on with Shea Theodore, because of what's going on with Alex Pietrangelo, Zach Whitecloud has now become your top line defenseman. They have now become your anchor. They have become the best defenseman you have in Vegas. Now, Alec Martinez and Zach Whitecloud being put together was not done on purpose. It was done because of circumstance. It was done because it had to be done. So Zach Whitecloud getting top minutes, Alec Martinez doing what he's doing. So it's really a situation where Ben Hutton now is your second line defenseman. This was a guy who was a healthy scratch not that long time ago. Now he's your second line defenseman. How about Daniil Miromanov and Nick Hague, two young defensemen, being on the third line because that's what you're having to do. So with the Vegas Golden Knights and with the situation right now with injuries, Vegas Golden Knights fans better hope that the injury bug does not affect them as majorly as it did last year. Because people forget the Vegas Golden Knights start to 2021-2022 season. As a matter of fact, some people have really forgotten how the Vegas Golden Knights had one of the best records heading into January of 2022. As a matter of fact, going back to last year, they were 19-11 heading into the new year. They were 10 games above 500 heading into the halfway point. But what happened is that injuries affected the team so majorly that it ended up taking a downward spiral for Vegas. So my angle and my argument for all of you is that if you want the Vegas Golden Knights to succeed, and I hope you do, let's have the injury bug not affect Vegas this year. How about the Vegas Golden Knights try to stay as healthy as they can? Because this team has talent. We all know it. This team has the ability to win a Stanley Cup. Once again, we all know. And the Vegas Golden Knights have every part possible to win a Stanley Cup. But you got to stay healthy. You have to have your best players every single night in the lineup. So, until next time, this is PR Connections Radio. I want to shout out to Coach Stone. Her incredible interviews. Go watch her. Gardner with power, Guy Dawson for creating PR Connection. If it wasn't for him doing that, this show would not exist. So appreciate Guy Dawson there. I also want to give a shout out to UNLV hockey. For UNLV hockey, they had a stand at City National. It was incredible. If you have an opportunity to go down to City National, it was a sold out event, and they picked up the win. They beat up on their competition. So it was really good to see. I will always support UNLV hockey for what they've been doing. They are a fantastic program. Hopefully, we can bring them on the show at some point. So UNLV hockey's doing well. Vegas Golden Knights doing well. Henderson Silver Knights are building up talent as we speak. So, as we say on every single show, go support your local hockey. Go support winter hockey. Go Knights go. And until next time, I'm your host, Ian Rachiele, and have a good one.